Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. Welcome just a wee bit late. I'm getting feedback over here. Boom. So we'll get rid of that. Good morning. Let's just play the opening number. Here we go. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the program, the non-program. This is not like the regular radio show. If you are here and you have not been here before, this is Sunday morning. It's cash. It's a cash version of the Intrepid radio program. I almost didn't make it in this morning, but I had some late night stuff going on that I had to take care of, and didn't realize it was something I had to have finished last night because I didn't pay attention to the details, and so I got a text message at 10:30 reminding me I had to have this thing done. It was for the presentation for the big mural here in town, and I'm presenting on Thursday to the council that me, along with a couple of other artists, to hopefully win the choice on the mural. And so, but I had to have a PowerPoint done, and they had sent me a PowerPoint. Yo, Josh, how you doing this morning? And Morgan Snow, good to see you. I know we're a little lean this morning because, at least to start, because I wasn't here. But so I quick finished off that PowerPoint presentation last night between about 11 p.m. last night and 4 this morning, and got that done. And half of the time was spent wrangling with Microsoft, and I almost just gave it up and said, "Forget it. I'm not going to do the PowerPoint. I'll do without it," because all the programs I have. This was a few years ago. Maybe some of you have run into this. All the programs that I had with Microsoft, Word and PowerPoint and Excel, suddenly about 3 or 4 years ago, I couldn't use any of them. Every time when I opened one, it would say, "Well, you got to go pay for your account." And I said, "I've never had to pay for my programs before, for an account, because I already had the programs that I'd paid for." And so I went in and I looked at it, and it said I had to buy a membership now to Microsoft in order to use their programs. And I'm like, screw that. I'm not going to do that. So I just stopped using Microsoft stuff about over 3 years ago. And then so last night I needed to use the PowerPoint. And so I went ahead and I tried to make that purchase of $6.99 a month or $69 a year. And I thought, I'm not going to stay on here. I'll just buy a month so I can finish off the PowerPoint. And I had to get one of their people. At least they have 24/7 real people you can chat with. Not that you can talk to on the phone, which would make it a lot easier than having to type all your questions and concerns and your little jigs in the thing and all that, and what's going on now, and blah, blah, blah. So it took about a good 2 hours to get the program up and working. And so I got that done. And then I finished off the PowerPoint. So it was nothing super intense. I just wanted it to look good. If I'm going to do it, make it look good. So that's what I did. Anyway, that was my night. And so I was done at about 4 this morning. And I thought, well, I'd slept. I fell asleep probably about 9 o'clock with everybody else. And I woke up at 10:30 when I got the text message. That woke me up. So I got a little bit of sleep in there. Then my coffee pot wouldn't work this morning. How's your Sunday morning? It just stopped working. It was working yesterday, and then I unplugged it because I scrubbed down the countertops because none of my kids do. If you spill red drink mix, like a Kool-Aid mix or something, all over the countertop, and it gets wet, what do you think happens to that? It turns red, and the countertop, it's stained. And so somebody spilled that stuff all over in front of the microwave, didn't wipe it up, didn't clean it up, and there's crumbs and everything. You know how kids are. It's like you want to ask your children, do you live here? If you do, why would you leave that way for somebody else? We've never been a maid service here. We've always told our kids you got to figure things out. Oh, should always have a backup cup. I do this morning, Randall Flagg. I did have my what do you call it? The carafe that you boil the water, and I can make my French press. So I could grind the beans and so on. And I looked at the clock when I started doing that, and it was 6 minutes to 9. And I thought, well, dang it, ain't going to make it. And it's got to boil the water first. And then now, just answer me a science question, somebody. Can water boil faster? Or is it a constant? Is it a scientific constant that at a certain temperature, it takes this long for water to boil? Because, and I suppose what can vary is rising temps or what, because I'll put water on the stove to boil, and it can take about 10 minutes. Yeah, don't watch. Exactly, Elizabeth. You just don't watch it. And so I can boil it on the stovetop, and what happens? Boils in about 10 minutes. That's a wrong banner. There we go. And so what about when I put it in this carafe? It's one of those electric carafes. You put it on, turn it on, it glows blue until it's done boiling. Some days it seems like it takes 2 minutes, and it doesn't. It takes longer, I'm sure. But then I put on a big pot to boil spaghetti the other night. Spaghetti noodles. And it seemed like it took forever. It's because it was more water. So is it density plus temperature plus who knows? Who knows? Who can answer a science question like that for me? I think Elizabeth Richardson had the best answer. Don't watch. That's it. So Morgan Snow is better than yesterday, she says. And yeah, and so I'm sorry, everybody, that I got in here a little late this morning. So I was upstairs trying to figure out coffee. And then I came in and realized I hadn't put up an announcement for this morning's show. And I do this through StreamYard, and so I got to set up all the StreamYard anyway for every show I do, every episode. And so I had to go in and set that all up. So there you go. And so now we're here. So good morning, one and all. Steph is here as well. Hey, Steph, I didn't see you right away. Good morning. So I'm not complaining, by the way, about my kids or the coffee. That's just what it took to get here today. And put a lid on the pot. Water comes to boil faster, says Morgan. How about when you put salt in it? Of course, when you put salt in your water, you're not going to use it for coffee. I heard salt in the water makes it boil faster. So I've always thrown a dash of salt when I'm doing pasta or something like that, you know. Elizabeth, 62, and has never had a cup of coffee in her life. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that happened to you, that your life took that nasty, dramatic turn where you could not have coffee. The coffee is the life. So what have I got this morning? I need the caffeine. Needed the caffeine, so I've got a cup of Mountain Dew. It's not coffee. It's cold and it's wet, and it's sugar-free Mountain Dew. But it's got caffeine in it. So that's what I'm drinking this morning in lieu of coffee. Yeah, there it is, Morgan. It smells good. Love sniffing the bag, says Elizabeth. I get the different, there's certain kinds of coffees I like. But lately I've been in a habit of whenever I get to the store, I grab like if I go to Target, they've got a Starbucks in there, and I'll grab a bag of beans, and so I get some. I've always drunk Cafe Verona, has been my brand, and then I like other ones. I've got like Kimona Dragon or something up there, and a couple of other ones like that. So I've got my favorites, and coffee always smells good brewing. So, what's on everybody's mind today? What's your week been like? What's your week gonna look like ahead? What's going on today? And how's the world treating you? How's the political world treating you? How's your love life treating you? How's your ghosty life treating you? All those questions, all those things. What's going on with y'all today? Hey, Roger Rabbit. Good to see you. Glad you're here, brother. I see your tracks everywhere, almost every day. I see you your tracks over on Instagram and over on is it TikTok? No. Somewhere else I've seen you liking things or passing by, and I never get to talk to you. So welcome. Glad you're here this morning. And so every day is kicking my butt. However, there's some work projects in the future. Well, that's good. When you say work projects, did I miss something? Are you not working right now? Like officially every day working? Or are you like me when I say work projects? Because I work for myself. So I work on project work every day. So opportunity to build at least 2 more disc golf courses. Oh, that's very cool. Right on. Now, is that your full-time gig? Is that what you're doing full-time? Or you do that alongside of your regular work? And but that's fantastic. Let's see. Elizabeth Richardson. Good, I hope. Been so sick for weeks watching the Flintstones. And you, leaving for Belize in 10 days for 3 weeks? Can't wait. It's my 42nd year anniversary. Well, congratulations coming up. And so you haven't been feeling good. I hope you're better by your trip. If you've been sick for weeks, yuck. So I'm not working every day. I work for myself. So work is all day, everyday projects like you. Yeah, you know what it's like. You work for yourself. What is it? The old saying, an entrepreneur will work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work 40. And that's the truth. You work for yourself, and it's a good thing. You'll put in that extra time. I'd rather be busy all the time and not making as much money than not. Well. How would I say that? I don't want to go to work for somebody else anymore. I've tried it. Doesn't work for me anymore. Steph says, "Welp, I feel a little bit of irritation. Been working on shit for years, and funny how one thing can trigger things, but in reality, it's a bunch of lies that you finally realize are all lies. It's a lie." Well, tell us more, Steph. You can call in today. Talk to us about some of this if you want to. You want to share it if it's shareable. So, everybody, if you want to call into the show, which is a non-show because it's Sunday, so it's just cash. There's the link. I'll post it into the chat room. And be prepared to come on screen, or you can call in and you can just have your camera off. And you can be a coward and not what am I seeing in the monitor? It's something on my. And you can call in and not show your face. And, I get it. Of course, we have people that call in a lot that don't show their faces, so that's all right. Not a big deal. Do I do readings today? I toyed with it in the back of my mind. I probably could do one card readings today because I've been doing them every day, a daily card every day over on TikTok. And so I might be able to put up a maybe I should do that one of these days. Put up a live thing on my TikTok saying, "Hey, I'm doing live radio right now." The link's in the description. Come on over. I could do that, huh? So Roger Rabbit says, trying to get my disc golf business going this year, building courses, running tournaments, teaching clinics. Hope to get a disc golf program going in local schools as well. Lots of plans. See, Roger, now I would have thought maybe it's because it's never been my thing. I hear that and I go, wow, is there a demand for that? Is that really big? And I have a slight idea of what it is. Disc golf course, makes sense. I know what I understand what it is, but is that something that is big enough? That's kind of cool. And I don't ask that because I'm trying to belittle it. I ask that out of ignorance. I have no idea. So, yeah, not the fake people. Everyone's a reader now. Yeah, that's true, Elizabeth. I've seen a lot of that. Roger says it's really huge and growing bigger every day. Oh, am I in a mood yet to get naughty and to use entendre? We'll be careful. Elaborate. LOL. I think someone would cringe from what I have to say. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Don't name names. Just talk about your stuff. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And anyway, here I've got a deal for you, folks. I will do a 1 to 3 card reading, depending on how I feel about it, for anybody who calls in. You call into the show and talk to me for a minute. We'll line you up. Hopefully, I don't have so many of you that I can't handle it. But you call into the show at that link, and I would name names, says Steph. Nice. So there's no phone number, Elizabeth. It's that link that I posted here. I'll do it again. It's in the chat room. Oh, Elizabeth, you are in Facebook, which you're not going to see the regular chat room. You'll probably see the phone the link as I posted here, because when I post, it posts across Facebook and Twitter and here, so or in YouTube. But if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see everybody else's chats. You won't see those all in Facebook. Facebook only lets you see Facebook comments. It doesn't let you see the chat room that's built into the show here. So, yeah, there's that. So, click on the link and it'll take you over to the YouTube channel. And otherwise, use that link I sent you. Where does that send you? That'll take you into StreamYard. That'll bring you here into my broadcasting program. So, you can do that, and that'll get you in. So, but I can't take phone calls. So I'm not set up to take phone calls on here. Ah. So I'm just thinking about that whole TikTok thing. I wonder what would happen if I put up a TikTok and it said, "Hey, come on over. We're doing readings here." I see over there, Betsy. Since you go by Betsy or Elizabeth, I'll bring you in. Hold on. Boom. There you are.
Hey there.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Trying to get well.
Yeah. What do you got going? You got any kind of COVID thing? I know COVID's not a big thing anymore.
I don't know what it is, but it lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks. My husband's had it for almost 6 weeks.
Yeah, we all had something around here a good 2 months ago, and no, it's further back than that. Now that I think about it, it was back in August, September. I contracted some kind of chest cold. That thing lasted for months, and it
I've
wasn't
been on
COVID.
cortisone twice.
Yeah, it's dumb, is what it is. It's dumb. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I've
All right.
got, I always do my readings with this deck. It's this Touchstone Tarot, and I keep them in this bag, and it's a small set of cards. I had gotten a set of these from the person in New Zealand, Cat Black, who
Oh,
created this deck, and this is the box. So I'd gotten a deck of these called the Touchstone Tarot, and very good deck. I really got used to that. I got those back in 2009. I had gotten that deck from her, and then I went and did readings and spoke at a Ghost Hunters event, the Beyond Reality events, and wait, this one might have been Darkness Radio. We were at the Queen Mary, and I had a room all set up. It was right across from kind of where the front desk area is, right up a little flight of stairs, and you're in this little room on the side, one of their little conference rooms. And I had all my stuff in there, and somebody had gotten into the room and stole all my stuff. And so my bag was gone, my leather attache, and kind of a nice thing. And I had all my little stuff in it. I had Christmas gifts in it, in my bag in there for my kids and my wife. And I had my cards, of course, because that's where I was doing readings. And so somebody, I wished whoever it was a very Merry Christmas with your stolen goods. And they took all my stuff, plus I had a bunch of money in my bag. And so that bag got stolen, but I let Cat Black know. I said, "Look, I need to get another deck of your cards." And I said, "Do you have any left?" Because she did a limited run, I think, at first. I can't remember the details of it. This is, This is 2009. And she said, "You know what?" She said, "I've got some press decks." And she cut up one of her press decks and sent it off to me. And
nice.
it didn't even charge me for it. And it's this is what they look like, and I've used this deck ever since. So this is the deck, and it's a nice handy size, but good, easy for shuffling and so on. And so she made this deck. This is all from a print run, one of her press sheets
Those are
that
nice.
she had cut up. So a prototype sample is what this was, and she gave me that. Now the real deck, as you can see, is considerably larger. So I haven't used this very much, and I think Raini just told me this is her deck yesterday. Oh, that's my deck
Don't touch it.
because I took it off the shelf. She doesn't use it; it's just on the shelf out there. And so Cat Black also. I know you didn't call for a big advertisement for Cat Black, but she also did this deck, which I use a lot, the Golden Tarot, and I like this deck as well. So I'm gonna read for you out of her deck, and I can't
Thank
shuffle
you.
these the way I used to, the way I'm used to shuffling. You know, I got to do this. They're so big that it's hard to handle. It's so big, and so I'll
Are
just
you ever going to do another paranormal gig again show?
a show. How do you mean? You mean speaking or reading at the shows?
No, like you did the show in Minneapolis when you had that paranormal.
The Paradigm Symposium. We did.
Yeah.
I've always said yes. As soon as God leans his bare ass out of the clouds, spreads his cheeks and makes them talk like a mouth and says, "You will do another Paradigm Symposium." Until I see that, probably not.
Okay.
But there's always that possibility that I could. So, no, we did that for 4 or 5 years,
I know.
and it was not profitable ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure.
we were able to glean some off of that, pay bills and stuff like that, but it seemed every year we ended up
Losing
more in
money.
the hole than we were making, even though, you know, that first year we had 700 people come to that. And that was a pretty good year, but that's because we were the first year we had the Ancient Aliens people there
Yep.
and all of that. So it went very well. And then the next year we had like Scott Walter and Robert Bivall and some of those, that a couple of years in a row there for those guys. And so we had a good show. And the last year we still had a pretty good showing, but we lost our hotel. And we lost our down payment on the hotel because we couldn't make the whole down. It was a nightmare financially, and we had to cancel it, and we postponed it to the spring from the fall, and we still had, I think we had about 250 people come, and if memory serves, and that's the one we did at the
VFW.
the
Legion or whatever, yeah.
Masonic Hall.
Yep. Because I
So-
did the show with you guys.
Oh, that's right. You were there.
Yeah.
That's right. Tell everybody what you do, by the way.
I make custom jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And
What's your
Okay.
website? Where can people go
you know,
look at
I
it?
got rid of my website because I sell so fast off Facebook.
Oh, sure.
You know, and
It's
you know
all
what?
right.
I really let spirit talk to me and what to make. I never draw it. I just,
Yeah.
whenever somebody tells me to make something, I just go down and make.
That's pretty cool. So she does beautiful stone jewelry I've seen
Yep.
of yours and other stuff. I'm speaking a little bit from ignorance because I don't know everything you do, but so cool.
Hey, what do you think about the solar thing coming?
I don't have any opinion on that. I just heard for the first time, Jeremy Hansen said to me something about it, the apocalyptic solar eclipse.
They've canceled school up here in Minneapolis.
Oh, they've canceled school for the
There's
solar
no
eclipse?
school in Minnetonka or Wayzata on April 8th.
You're kidding me.
Mm-mm.
For a solar eclipse?
People are talking about, and I don't know, it's all over TikTok, talking about like the end of days, we are, but
School, the apocalypse will be coming on Wednesday, the 8th. So we're going to have no school that day. It'll be like a snow day.
I'm telling you, you should check to see if your school's, you're in Wisconsin, right?
I should.
You should make sure, because I'm telling you, and Wayzata and Minnetonka does not have school. My grandkids do not have school.
And by the way, folks, in Wayzata, Minnetonka, those are both western suburbs of Minneapolis, outskirts suburbs. And and I'm way over on the east side of St. Paul, which is east of Minneapolis. I'm on the east side across the river into Wisconsin. And so, we have, what's funny? Ironic is that all winter, you live up here. We haven't had any snow.
I know. And then there's just snow today.
A little bit at the beginning of the winter, and then we had rain. It got warm and it rained in late fall, early winter before Christmas.
55
and
on
so the
Christmas.
ground was sodden, and then it just never snowed again until about a week ago. Well, no, we had one snow earlier, a few inches, about a month ago, was it?
Yep.
Something like that?
Nothing
And
plowable.
then it melted in a day. And so it was a weird, warm winter. And I know there's a lot of people out there like the whole global warming. We told you the earth is dying. No, it's just a weird winter. Okay. Do you think over the millions of years that have existed that we've never had weird winters in this region before that are warm? We've had some that are extremely icy cold. We've had some that are extremely warm. So this just happened to be a weird, warm winter. But I will say this, in my 63 years, this is the first winter I've seen that ever looked like this one.
Me too.
There
I'm
was
the same
no
age as
snow
you.
all
Yeah.
year. Now, we got snow up north here. It's like that swath from the west that cuts across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and out. It's kind of like the whole warming trend of the city areas. It was always missing us. It was either way to the south, but like they'd say, the Interstate 94 corridor, south of that would get snow, and then we wouldn't get it north of that because it's where the concentration of people are and buildings and so on. So it's kind of weird in that sense. But the
You're supposed to
irony
get the
is
snow
this.
today, aren't you?
What's that?
Aren't you going to get the snow today too?
Supposed to.
Yeah, we're supposed to. It's not
Supposed
doing
to be a
anything
big
yet.
one. We've seen the little pellets, the little tiny, it looks like hail, but
Yep.
it's minuscule. Little, and it piles up on the windshield. I look out the front window and you can see just a little pile of it on the windshield, but nothing on the ground. So the ground might be too warm. But here's the irony. We've had one big snowfall this winter, and it was gone in a day or two.
I know.
And then it snowed 2 days ago, 3
That's
days
gone.
ago. That's gone for the most part. And now we're supposed to get like the prediction is 16 inches of snow over the next 24 hours. So it's like winter's like, I was a little stopped up, had a little too much cheese. Oh, here we go. We cleared it out. Release the hounds. And it's like all winter long, no snow and warm. And now we're getting 16 inches overnight. So it'll be interesting. But the fun thing for my kids, they're on spring break.
Oh, they're on spring break right now?
They were hoping on Friday because we had that little bit of snow on Friday. It was tantamount to 3 inches out here, 3 to 4 inches.
That's what we got out here too.
On the fence post top, it's like 4 inches of snow, something like that. And then, but then the ground was warm enough, so the streets were clear in an hour, and it all melted off. And now it's supposed to be the mother lode hitting us over the next between Sunday afternoon and Tuesday morning. They're saying. So we've got the next day and a half of a big snow. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how long it lasts. I know it's going to be into the upper 30s for the rest of the week, while it's been 70, a week ago. So
and you're sitting out in the sun in January in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. I actually got a little tan on my face earlier in January, just from being out in the sun. I wasn't out sitting in the sun. I was just out messing around outside, doing stuff outside, and I got sun. My little girl is doing that poo patrol. And
Oh, that's right.
I posted about that, picking up dog poo in people's yards. And
wish she was closer. She could come to mine. I got 2 labs.
Yeah, we would. I drive her. Everything we've done so far, we drive. She hasn't distributed anything in the neighborhood yet. She's going to do that this week, and wants to do this for the summer. And she is for 9 years old in the 4th grade. She has made about $100 a week on average for the last 3 weeks.
Is she the little girl? She has to be the youngest one then when you did the
She's
period.
the youngest one, yeah.
All right.
You
She
remember
didn't like
her
clothes. She didn't like clothes when she was little, did she?
No, she liked being naked.
I remember that.
A lot like Steph Cuervo Queen. She likes running around naked. So I got to see if Steph's still there. That's why I used her name. But yeah, she. I remember her. She was at the Paradigm Symposium.
I know she didn't like her clothes on.
Little tiny back then. Let's see. That would have
she was
been
a handful.
2015. She was born in November of 2014. So that was.
She's like 3. Yeah.
Was it was 20 was it early 2016? Yeah, we had 2015 and then we moved it out to May of 2016, I do believe. Because I think she was a year and a half old. She was walking.
Yeah, she was a handful
So,
though.
yeah. Oh, Steph is here. She heard it. So, yeah. So I think it's just kind of funny that my kids, they were all dying about Thursday night. They were like, the teachers are all hoping we have no school tomorrow. I said, why would we have no school on Friday? Well, it's the beginning of spring break after school today, but it's going to snow. And I said, it ain't going to snow that much. I guarantee you they're not going to have a snow day. I said, next week maybe, but we're on spring break. I said, well, there you go. You get your snow days on spring break. So anyway, let's do your reading. We've been yakking here long enough. Here, I've already shuffled. I'm going to cut the deck as if you were here. I'd have you cut the deck for me. So I'm just going to cut it into a few little piles, and we'll go from there. We'll start with one card. We'll see where that goes. And all right, here we go. Your first card is the devil. The devil, you say? Yes, the devil. There's a very simple explanation for this, and we can get detailed with it. Here's what the devil card means, and this is for you, Elizabeth. Do you go by Betsy? I've never called you that. Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw that on your thing here. So the devil card. The devil card is the idea that the best way to describe this card is saying, if you face the difficulties and the problems, or the what we would call our demons, the things that plague us, you'll have power over them rather than them having power over you. It's the whole idea. I used a Bible verse that I would always quote with this. It says, resist the devil and he will flee. Meaning you can get lots of problems coming your way. Let's put it in a theological mode for a second. Let's say the devil gives you a lot of problems, or he's trying to trip you up, or his minions are trying to trip you up, whatever it might be. It says, as tough as they get with you and as harrowing as they look and as spooky as they look and as much crap as they do to you, biblical text says, resist the devil and he'll flee. He's a coward. He'll run from you. And so here's the idea with this. With stuff that's going on with you right now, you got some things going on.
Yep.
That it can be health. You already told me there's health issues, but it's not usually having a bad cold or a chest infection isn't something you can just, I'm going to resist you and it goes away. It doesn't do that. So I would say that this probably has to do with other things that are going on. It can be business stuff. It can be family. It can be relationships. It's all those different things that make up life for it. It could be money issues, whatever it is. This is something that it's plaguing you and it's knocking you off your center. It's taking away your focus.
Yes,
and it says you, like I've always said to my kids about things, and I've said about different stuff that we go through, if you let it control it so it doesn't control you, is the idea. And it's not, the message there isn't be controlling. The essence of the message is you be the person in charge of whatever's going on. You be the one who doesn't let things get out of hand. You be the one who confronts it, looks it in the face. And so there's some kind of events that are going on for you.
Addiction.
It's beyond your control. Addiction is one of them. Yes.
That's it.
An addiction. If you do not control it, it will control you. It's like smoking was for me. Loved smoking. Never saw myself as being addicted to smoking, but it was something that if I didn't take control of it, it would be something I would always do. And so, and I still like smoking. I just don't. I've only had 2 cigarettes in the last 7 months. I've had 2.
That's good.
Not even full ones, as I've bragged about on the show before. But that's the thing. If that were a problem for me, cigarette smoking, If I did not take control of it, it would control me. It would be the thing telling me, you feel like a smoke right now, don't you? And right now, if I ever get those cravings, I feel like a smoke right now. I can turn it down. I go, nah, I don't think so. So you take control of it. But there's stuff that's beyond your power and your influence that could be very life-changing. And it's uncertain right now by this card, whether it's good or bad. But you have to avoid, this is a card that says, avoid extravagant behavior.
Yeah.
Meaning, what would we say is extravagant behavior? Doing
Overspending.
What's that?
Overspending.
Overspending. That's an extravagance. That happens around here sometimes. And Raini is very good about stuff. I will just say there's sometimes she'll come and she'll go, look at this thing I got. It was only $600. And I'm like, what $600 did we spend on that? And now I'm exaggerating, but she's not bad at all. But sometimes she comes home with stuff and she goes, well, I'm very frugal and I do this and this and this, so I can buy this, right? It's already done. So this is a card that also says you're going to find, and you're mature enough to know this already, you're going to find some beauty in yourself, and you're going to stop maybe the projections that you're casting on the world around you. And you have to find the courage to change your life, is what this card is all about. And that's the whole thing. Look the devil in the eye and he'll flee. So resist him. So let's do this. Let's draw one more card and see what it says. Thing. Oh, hey. How about this one? Right on top of that. This is the card, the 10 of Swords. And you can see it's a man lying by the side of the road with 10 swords sticking out of his body. The dog there, it's a symbolic, metaphoric. The dog is the metaphoric wild hound that will lap up the blood after you've died, kind of thing, and it's the hounds of hell and all of that. This is the idea, this 10 of Swords card, that it's a big change. It's a major change in life is what it represents. And it's a card that says you're in the midst of a huge transition. I mean, who's not transitioning if you wake up with 10 swords sticking out of your back? It's going to change you, is the idea here. This is one, and swords is the suit of conflict. It's the suit of conflict you get, conflict you give. It can also be the beautiful thing about the swords, when it's all about conflict, it's also a suit that deals with you hold the sword of power and authority. You either give that away or you take it. It's almost like, in a sense, it's a version of this. The devil is control it or it will control you. This is one that can say that the sword of power and authority in your life is something you can grasp onto or you can relinquish. This is one that's saying the chapter's closed. Something is coming to an end.
Yep.
An event has happened. Something has happened that's ending things the way you know them. And that ending is one, the good thing about it, it's a transition. But at the same time, it's a transition that if it's ugly to go through and nasty, and it's something you're not enjoying, this is a card that says, that's okay. It's a transition, because what this is leaving you open to is an open road to something brand new. It's coming to terms with something in some sort of bitter reality in your life. And it's learning that moving forward is the most important aspect of healing whatever is at the core of this. And it's the whole idea that the end of something is important and it's about to occur, and prepare to deal with the consequences of that ending, because nothing in life is permanent, is the idea. And so you have to assess the direction that you're headed. You have to beware following the options and the opinions that other people are going to throw at you. That's a big part of this too. It's the things. Look at the things we do because of what other people say or think, or I've gotten to the point in life where I'm like, fuck them. I don't care what you think of how I do something. Now there are things I do care about, but there's some things I just don't anymore. And it's like your opinion. Well, what's the I saw the Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday from the Wyatt Earp movie, where he had Tombstone, and he's standing there and he said, "Sir," he says, how did he put it? He said, he's talking about being offended or other people's opinions. He said, your insult would bear weight if I respected your opinion, and that's the whole thing. I first have to value your opinion before I will accept your insult. And so that's it. Or sometimes it's just people's opinions. And so following the opinions of other people, you have to follow your own truth in this.
Yeah.
Because something's come to an end. And these two cards, I think I'm going to leave it with these two because rather than draw a third, because I think that this is something that's delivering a very strong message to you.
Yeah, it is.
The devil is somebody to resist, something to resist. And because there's a big change coming. And this is one that's saying there's a big change that you're going to feel like. And you know what? When you have 10 swords sticking in your back, you can pull them all out and you're going to have those scars the rest of your life. From sword fighting, I've got a scar on my wrist right here that I've had for over almost 20 years. And I just got stabbed in the arm and with a stage blade. And so this is real life stuff. It's going to leave scars, but then you have to, there you go. Jason here just said it the best. As we all know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. And so there you go.
Thanks,
That's
dear.
the message for you. I hope that's helpful today.
You know what? You're the best reader around.
Why, thank you, man.
No, you really are. All the fake people on TikTok and every other place.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Are you following my TikTok?
Yep.
Okay. I can't remember sometimes. There's so much stuff going on. So who's following, who isn't?
Thank you very much, dear.
I'm glad you like that.
I'm glad you're amazing, but thank you.
Oh, well, thanks,
you're always on point.
Well, somebody's telling you something. That's the good thing about it.
Now this time I have to listen.
There you go. Yeah. So thanks, just do the easiest thing to do with this, with the devil thing, the whole thing wrapped up together, is you see it and you know it and you look it in the eye. You go, I resist this. It's like I say about offense when I'm talking about politics or anything else. You can't offend me. You know why? Because we have to appropriate the offense in order to be offended. I choose not to appropriate it.
That's completely true.
You can puff on all you want out there. I don't care, is what it comes down to. So that's the whole thing. The whole message with this is resist. And you take control so it doesn't take control.
I'm going to try.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Good to see you or hear you.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. All right, folks. Why, thank you, Steph, for that, what do they call those? A super chat for $5? Thank you very much. I sure appreciate that. Anybody else, if you want a reading today, we just did one for Elizabeth. You just call into the show, and we'll do it that way. And if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to. You saw Elizabeth just called in and was just audible. So there is the link. If you guys want to call in, come on in. Go grab After Easter chocolate. Is it after Easter yet? When is Easter? No, Easter's the last Sunday of the month. This month, isn't it? I got to open up my calendar and look. Easter Sunday is the 31st this year. And that's 1 week from today already. It's going to be April in 8 days, folks. It's already April of 2024. So Steph's going to call in. I need to get situated first. All right. Situated is good. Situated is good. All right. So, what else is going on with everybody? Jason, how you doing this morning? I don't think I saw you on Friday night. I'm so used to you being there in the captain's cabin that I felt bereft on Friday evening. I know you probably had other things to do. You're moving across the country and blah blah blah. But and you're not obligated to the show, but I felt it. I felt the lack of your presence was palpable. How do you say that without sounding gay? Oh, I so missed you. There he is. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing. So what's going on with you today? Did you want a reading?
Sure, why not?
Let's do it. Okay, you start talking. Don't
All
tell
right.
me about anything you want to necessarily know about, but other than that, how's just the mundane, the moving stuff going? Getting packed up and
It's going all
pain in
right.
the ass.
I got an offer in on a place down in St. Louis.
Right on.
We'll be
Buying a house down there?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just the easiest way to get a place
Better
that has
than
the space I
renting.
need with 2 classic vehicles and a motorcycle and all my tools and
Right.
all
Right.
that.
Gonna rent space for all of that. Well,
Yeah.
good. I hope that goes well.
Well, thank you. We'll see what happens this weekend. They're doing an open house, and our offer was the front runner all, I guess, Friday and yesterday. So,
Well, it's like the house that we're in right now. We've been here for a year and a half, solid year and a half now, and we want to buy this place. It's either we'll buy this place or we'll buy something else, and we're renting with an option.
yeah.
Already talked to the owners about buying it. Old couple.
Okay.
Own a 100-acre horse ranch, 30 miles from here.
Yeah.
It's one of their last properties, and so, but we've been doing all kinds of work on the place. It's the things you take the risk of losing the stuff you put in because we don't own it.
Right. Yep.
But she knows we want to buy it. We've talked about it, and hopefully within the next year or two, we'll be in a position to buy this. I have no idea what the price is going to be.
Well, hopefully that'll be good. I really want to get into this place. It is right up my alley. It was built in '54. It is
Nice.
very mid-century modern design.
Yeah.
It has an attached 2-car garage, and then it has a very large detached garage workshop.
Nice.
So, I mean,
That's cool.
yeah, I can really work on both cars.
That's nice.
When it comes time to paint my Ford, I could actually set up a paint booth in there.
Nice.
Temporary and paint in there, and
a hat studio.
yes, a hat studio, exactly. And it's 35 minutes from base, so
Yeah.
it's far enough away where I'm not living in Illinois and dealing with all of those taxes.
Yes.
But not an atrocious commute.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Well, I've got a card here for you.
Uh-oh.
I've shuffled while you were talking.
Okay.
And we've got the Knight of Wands. Now, the knights in the deck, they always represent specific people or characteristics about you, attributes about you. The wands is the same as the staffs, or I think wands is probably the best way to say it. It's got that little magical edge to it. And and the knights are always these guys that are in motion. They're moving, they're doing something. And the Knight of Wands, Wands has to do with your emotional makeup. The stuff that it's not the passions of the cups, which is relationships and romances and things like this.
Right.
Although this can apply to all that, the wands are the things that you do that brings the excitement of life to you, meaning the exuberance and the zeal to do the things you do.
Gotcha.
It has to do with the stuff you invest yourself in, your emotions, your time, your energy.
Okay.
And it's funny that this card, and trust me, while you were talking, I didn't draw this card out It's a random draw. This is a card that stands for relocation,
Does it?
which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's there's decisions you've made or a spontaneous decision that you have to make that represents with this card either a long journey or a permanent relocation. And it
How
says that
apropos.
the achievement of this is it kind of comes in unexpected ways is the idea. Now, everything you've done has been kind of expected. Maybe it's talking to the past because you got an offer and all of that. But the idea for if we were to do a little future look at this, and I don't like reading for the future because I don't like prognosticating. I don't think that's the best purpose of the cards.
Right.
When it prognosticates at all, it's based on all the energies that have brought you into this. I read for the current energy.
Okay.
And this is the energy represented in the Knight of Wands is ambitious in that good sense. Not that the noble Brutus hath told you Caesar were ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. So says Shakespeare. But not ambitious in that sense, but ambitious in the good sense. You've got ambitions, you've got goals, you got things. It represents being energetic. It represents a determined leader. And there's challenges that are associated with the card.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But embracing those challenges as something positive to come is kind of what this card is saying. That's kind of the attitude you should take with all this. This is a great challenge to come. And some of those challenges might be unpredictable. You don't know the outcomes of everything, but it's kind of and it sounds a little sing-songy, but believe in yourself and have courage.
Right.
That's what the card means.
Okay.
And so the whole idea is the whole root of your desire for change is your curiosity and your intuition. And the conflicts that you maybe have faced at work with this have influenced the outcome of all the events going on around you right now.
That's pretty spot on, I'd say.
I'd say it's spot on. And you've also got this. When I first picked this up, I picked up the card on the top, which was this card. But then I realized I had two cards in my hand, and I'm like, what? Are they stuck? And I'm like, what the hell? Even now I can't get it apart. And I went, oh, there's a second card in there. So I drew both of these. This would have been the first card, but for some reason, this one's stuck. And when I picked it up, this was your first card. That's representing relocation. I think your move. I know some things about you, so it's easy to tag that one. But then you've got the Emperor, which came up with it. And the Emperor card is simply a card that says you have to play the Emperor in your life, the decisions for the good of your nation, so to speak. Call your nation you. Right now, that is all in your head. There's a Bible verse, and these come to mind awful lot over the years when I do tarot because of my training. But the biblical verse where Solomon said, "The wise man surrounds himself with a multitude of counselors, but in the end, the decision is yours."
Right.
So it would be like you're this emperor, and you are everybody's got an opinion.
Yep.
Like you said, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got, here, you know what, Jason, here's what you should be doing. Everybody's got one of those.
Right.
And so the idea with this is take it all in. Okay. Yeah, bring it. You can all bring your opinions, your advice. You're gladly accepted. But then when you're done hearing advice, you go, okay, closed for advice now. Thank you. You can all leave the room. I got a decision to make. So the idea with this card is that you as the emperor have to be the person that's in control of things. You have to be the one who makes the decisions. You have to be the one who it's like this. Sometimes it's not always good decisions, but they're things that need to be done.
Right.
It's like, and I used to use this illustration a lot with this card. and I always say used to, I still do. I just haven't done as many readings as I used to do.
Right.
But the idea with this is that you have to be the one who might have to make the decision that is, it's like an emperor going to war. It's for the good of my country, and I know I'm going to lose a lot of our young men in the process, but
Right.
this is a decision that has to be made.
Yeah.
And we have to defend our country, even though I know I have to send some of you to your deaths. Hopefully, it'd be nice if none of you had to die, but somebody's gonna. So the
Yeah.
idea there, use that as a metaphor, is that there's some decisions you have to make that maybe aren't the most pleasant, but
Right.
there's things that have to be done.
Yeah.
And there may also the not the converse, but a flip side to this is that what if it's not you? This is representing you right now, I believe. But
Okay.
there's that converse that says that there's someone in a position of authority that is offering you some good things or good help or good advice.
Right.
While you have to make the decision, in whatever form this comes, the more experienced hand that has come to help you might be the person that maybe has more experience than you.
Yeah.
And one thing I do know about you, and I understand this about you, and this is, I think, a very positive thing. You like to make your decisions based on what you know.
Yeah.
You are not one that I have ever seen that would say, I'm going to make this willy-nilly decision to do this. You study it out, you research it, you do the things. You're
Yeah.
protecting your own interests.
Right.
If you were a family and you had a family that you're taking care of in your immediate circle, then that would be something where you are doing this to protect your loved ones.
Yeah.
And so this is all, you're taking the initiative.
That's actually interesting that you bring up that.
Yeah.
Because so moving into St. Louis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's no Detroit, all right? So it's not like gangland or something going on. But
Right.
there's seedier areas, there are older areas, there are problem areas and things like that. And so I reconnected with a gal that I've known for 12 years.
That's cool.
And we're kind of like, yeah, I think we're going to make a go of this. And she's been wanting to get back to St. Louis, well, back to Missouri in general, because that's where we met.
Yeah.
And so she has a daughter, and she gets, having her grown up in St. Louis, she she knows the area a bit better than I do, but she is it's also kind of somewhat dated material. Her sister still lives there, but areas change, and when you start looking at some of these places and demographics in general, not necessarily race, but everything, age, profession, sure, race is in there,
right,
all those kinds of businesses, whatever. She has lots of concerns, and she kept wanting to push further south. And I'm like, look, the further south I push, the way, it becomes unaffordable.
Right.
And it gets further and further from work, which, that's kind of a convenience thing, but it's also something you got to take into consideration. If you're commuting an hour and a half to work, that's going to have other
that has ramifications,
right?
Well, there is an aspect of this card that says you taking the initiative, the leadership role. It brings you closer to your goals.
Yeah,
but only if you can bear the responsibility of your actions that are associated with it, and you'll be given the opportunity to lead.
Yeah,
in these roles, but you have to remember those who follow you.
Right, which it's one of those things where the way she kind of thinks, she worries about it, right, a lot. And I'm like, look, if you're worried about the public school system, if you're moving back here, if we're going to give this a go, the ultimate end state goal is you guys moving in with me and us.
A happy thing to hear.
Right, yeah, exactly, all of that.
Well, did you know that the emperor, he's the counterpart to the empress? The empress card represents fertility, motherhood,
Mhm.
being a mom, all of those things that are wrapped up in even and then the esoteric side of that.
Yeah.
The emperor is the counterpart. He's the fatherly.
Right.
He stands for all things fatherly. He's structure. He's order. He's authority.
Hmm.
And so this is about,
Yeah.
you know,
It's just
assertiveness,
it's one of those
rationality.
things where I'm like, look, if we're worried about the public schools, there's a whole bunch of magnet schools, charter schools, and private
Right.
schools that are all in striking distance, and we can make it work.
Yeah.
You just gotta trust me on this.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just interesting the parallels with that card getting pulled along with the wands one.
There you go. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's this is relocation and taking the initiative and being the boss. And this is being the boss, being the dad, you know, being in charge and so on. So
Right.
there you go. That's off the cuff what we draw on you today.
Pretty good.
How's that? How's them apples?
I like them apples.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good.
Oh, hey, so I wanted
Yes.
to tell you, and now that I've
Tell
got
me.
you, and I've got sitting here in front of me, the design that you came up with.
Oh yeah.
So I got curious, and I wanted to see how it would work on a liner, and so I got some.
Oh, you
test
tried it?
transfers. Yeah, I got some test
Oh.
transfers made up, and see if
I'm
I
gonna
can find
blow
something.
you up here. Let's see, so we can see it better.
This is how it came out from the company where I got the test transfers made.
Nice.
And it's downstairs. I'm not gonna run downstairs and run back
Sure.
upstairs and all that. But I tested it on one of the liners, and I have like a kind of cream
Yeah.
kind of colored liner that I've been using lately. And dude,
To look good. I'll accept that as looking good.
you nailed it.
Yes.
Absolutely
hearing that.
nailed it. So
Fantastic.
yes,
Well, I can't wait to see the liner on my hat.
I know.
So, I still have to get your
Measurements,
on
and
it.
then we got to pick out a color of felt. So
Yes, I am really partial to the gray. I like
know.
the I don't have an Indiana Jones fedora, and I avoided that for the sole reason that I didn't want people going, "Oh, who do you think you are? Some great adventurer?"
I still
you
get
know,
that even with my gray
I
fedora
get
that I
that now
made.
anyway, and the hat I
Yeah.
wear is the Casablanca, the Humphrey Bogart hat.
Right.
And so I really don't care. I don't know. Ask everybody else out there. Should I get the Indiana Jones, the brown?
Well, there's that, and then you know, there's some good, you know, whiskey and
I love
you
the
know,
whiskey. That's the one my son Sam appropriated from me.
right, yeah,
And,
and gray. You really can't go wrong with those colors.
I love the gray hat. With the gray hat with the black band.
Yep.
Is what I got on the Casablanca.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll figure it out as soon as you're back up and running and doing hats.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
I have two that I have to finish out before I leave. One was for a guy at the barber shop that I go to, and I've been going to for a few years now. You know, I got to get that one done because we've been talking about it, and then I am making one for my wing commander.
Nice.
I've been conspiring with his wife to get his hat measurements and everything. Like
Nice.
That. And so I have that sitting on the block. I let that. I'm letting that sit on the hat block a little extra longer, so it you know, it really retains the shape, and it's really well trained.
As I've mentioned before, I want to get one of those World War II, the cap like you've got. I can't remember what they're called.
The Bancroft Fighter. The
Bancroft Fighter.
Yeah, I can't think of the guy's name. Or
I exchanged messages with him a couple of months ago, and I said, I told him, you know, when I get my tax return and I have some free money to play with rather than digging deep, I'm probably going to have you do one of these for me. And he said, you just let me know anytime. So the only difference with that is a fedora I can wear anywhere.
Right.
I can wear it with blue jeans. I can wear it with a suit. I
Yep.
can wear it going to court. I can wear it going out to eat. I
Very
can wear it
versatile.
just messing around in the woods. The Bancroft flyer, the World War
Yeah.
II cap. It's like it doesn't go so well with too many outfits. You can probably wear it, but it's like there's the guy with the World War II flying ace hat.
Well, you know
You
what?
know?
There is another option that you could do. Hold on. Because I know
Your video is there it is. Now it's back.
I know he's made similar because him and I had a brief discussion. I was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this particular kind of hat? Because like I'm pretty big in the rockabilly scene and all of that. And there are a lot of people who would probably snap one up because it's hard to find one. But like this one that I have, it's not made by him and I've had it for years. So it's rather beat up.
I think I know which one this is.
Yeah. But my Brando cap.
The
This has-
Brando cap.
Yeah. It's just a cabbie cap or whatever, but it's got a lot of miles on it because I wear this.
When you think about it, it's got the look of like the 1950s gas station attendant.
Exactly.
But it can also be something totally different than that. So,
but then you throw it on there. But he's made one for somebody, and he sent me pictures. It
nice
looks really good. So if the flighter isn't something that suits you because of versatility, you might talk to him about the motorcycle cap.
Maybe
the one if I can find if I can remember, I'll find the picture that he sent me and I'll send it to you.
I would just get the Bancroft because of the war connection, to the World War II connection, and all of that. So that cap looks good on you. That's probably not something I'd wear. So
you could probably pull it off.
I probably could, but
maybe in a gray,
maybe
instead of a tan. But a brown hat would work with you. Whiskey or a camel, could be pulled off pretty well. Gray suits you fantastically.
I love the gray hat. That was my choice when I got my very first fedora from Penman Hats. He was the master at his.
You know what?
Indiana Jones. Yeah. But I had a choice to do the Indiana Jones or the Humphrey Bogart, the gray.
Right.
And I said, I'm doing the Bogart hat.
Oh yeah. So I ordered this hat from a guy who also sells hat supplies, hat making supplies, and things like that. Guys out of Greece. But it's a
nice.
It started life as basically open crown, wide brim fedora, and I've kind of given it a little bit of a, I did an almond bash on it and a slight pinch, so it kind of has the man with no name feel to it.
Right.
I even put a reproduction of the leather band that's on Eastwood's hats. But this color is called Caribou.
Nice. It's that darker gray.
It's a darker gray. It's a little more earthy. There's a little bit more of a
brownish tone to it.
Yeah. Something like this might work, and I know he sells these felts.
Very nice.
So maybe we'll go with something like this color.
Maybe that would do just fine too. It would have to be in a. I'd probably have you do like the. I don't know what all the different bashes are called, but the Indiana Jones has one thing you can look at, folks. It's got a furrow from front to back. That's it doesn't have the crown, the 5 points or anything.
Not a diamond or an almond or anything like that. Yeah, or a telescope, right?
By the way, if anybody wants a reading, I'm going to talk with Jason here until somebody else calls in. You just go ahead and call in, and we'll do the reading for you. We'll take it from there. So, Steph, if you're ready, you call in anytime. So, that looks sharp.
Yeah,
see, I like the wider brim, but I would probably, personally, I would never wear it flat. I would always curl that in. So,
Did I show you the cowboy hat that I made?
I don't think so.
I've made it for someone. I haven't gotten it to them yet. It's a surprise thing. I didn't even talk with them about it. But it is a super dark brown, so it kind of has a bit more flexibility in terms of what you can wear it with. I'll just grab it. It's a little bit big for me, but
oh, there's Steph in the background. I'm going to bring her in, and she can. Oh, look at that!
Oh, geez.
I'm just going to
Going
tell
on.
you, there ain't room for the two of us in this town. And so, yeah, nice.
Yeah, so that was my first foray into a cowboy hat. I when it comes to cowboy hats, I love the man with no name kind of thing. It has a slight pencil curl to the brim, but it's a flat brim. Or I like it's going to sound hokey, but all of the John Wayne movies that he did with John Ford.
Yes.
So all the cavalry stuff where it has the diamond bash, and then it has the front's got the up curl to it. Like I love that stuff. But like wearing that nowadays in public, unless you're actually at some sort of thing, people are like,
well, I've got the one hat. There's only one hat I'll curl up in the front. Let me grab it. And I've shown this before.
Scotty and I are like children when it comes to hats.
We are. So, yeah, and I know.
How you doing, Steph?
I've shown all these before, so I'm not going to go do a big deal about it. But this is a Penman hat that he made for me.
Yeah,
specifically for me. It's a very different style.
Yep.
But when I put this one on, I could wear it like I do my other hats. I could do the down in the front and up on the sides. But this one, it came like this.
Yeah.
And I tend to wear it that way. When I put this one on, that's the only hat I'll ever wear with the brim up in the front.
Well, that's like that vintage Stetson that vintage Stetson that I restored. You know, the brim kind of curls up. Since I'm down here it is on the liner.
Oh, very nice. Oh, I love that. That's sharp.
Right?
That's sharp.
Turned out amazing.
Now, so, Penman's liners are, he imprints his logo in gold.
Yeah.
On a satiny, tan satiny.
I thought about doing gold or silver or getting some in gold and silver, but I really wanted that. The way you designed that, it's so bold.
Yeah.
I wanted it seen.
I'm glad you like it. That makes me happy.
It is just
an artist's life has so few rewards.
when the test things came in, I was like, and I took them to work and I showed them to my friends at work. I'm just like, and they're like, oh my God, that's awesome. So
nice.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, this is the one I grabbed. This is not the Casablanca. It is his kind of he calls this his everyman hat. This is not the Penman. He doesn't have the Penman label in it. This is everyman hat.
I just have.
He's got it like that. There you go. There's what Steph's wearing. There, he's got his little everyman logo. But this is the Penman.
And then my summer one.
Nice. There you go.
Oh, a nice straw one.
Yep.
There it is. The bogey
I would like
hat
to eventually work straw.
Was about 600. This one was about 300.
That's
the difference. It was a pre-made form, and he just bashed it into the Bogart. So you got a 1, 2, 3, 4 point crown on that, and you could easily make it a 6 point if you bashed it, a little bit more. But that's a 4.
Oh, that's a perfect bash. I love the diamond on the top of that. That's awesome.
I love it.
Turned out really well.
And that's a nice solid hat. So, well, Jason, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you go. And I'm gonna, unless you want to just sit in the background, that's
Six
I don't
of
like
one,
your
half a
vibe
dozen of
on
the other.
my reading.
you can hear it either
Your
way.
mojo to yourself. I need this.
So we're gonna do a little reading for Steph. here.
Well,
Contain
then
your
let me
energy.
back on out of here. I don't want to
It's about
influence
me.
her reading.
Me.
It's about her.
There you go. It's all about Steph. All right, brother. I'll see you later.
All right, take it easy.
All right, Steph, it's you and me.
I'm
So
here to
let's-
get a reading and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, well, let's do this. Let me, boy, for you, I better shuffle this up really good.
Yeah, take your time with that.
So, Randall Flagg said he has an Australian hat. I've never had one of those.
So, like, did he cook up and like use skin from an Australian?
That's a.
Are you Barbecue Junior?
Doesn't the Australian hat have a? I think the traditional thing is they have a thing, and this is like up, but it's a little different styling. It's like a Western.
I don't know. I
with,
just
the
think
side
the
up or
crocodiles
something
go
like
deep.
that. I don't know. I might be
Doesn't he
wrong.
have like crocodile teeth across the band?
Yeah, Man from Snowy River type of a
that's
hat.
one of my favorite movies.
You remember that movie?
One of my favorite movies.
Yes. When I was married to my ex-wife, at our wedding, it was at our church, and I was youth pastor at our church and stuff like that. And I asked the pianist if she would, in the kind of prelude to the wedding when people are all getting their seats and stuff, and had her played that piece from The Man from Snowy River.
Oh, so
Very
pretty.
nice. Anyway, let me cut this deck for you.
Also, hello to chat. I can't see YouTube chat. So, hello.
Here we go. You ready?
Nope.
Let's see what we got. We'll
Sock it
start
to
with
me.
one card and see where it goes.
Okay.
All right. You see this card?
No, I don't.
This is the Judgment card.
Of course. It's always
Of course, it's Judgment, of course. Now, the Judgment, I have said this before about this card. I like to refer to this as the resurrection card. And I wish I had the one from the other deck because it shows it differently. The picture is slightly different. Now, I want you to take a look at this picture on here. And if you see, it's got the woman standing here and the angel is trumping in the background, and there's the open tomb back there. And that's why I started calling this the resurrection card. I'm going to see, if you don't mind me doing this through the reading, I'm going to grab, if I can see it right off without taking too much time, the Judgment card from this deck. This is the other deck that Cat Black has done. And if it's handy here, I'll grab it and I'll show you. But it shows the woman standing there, and there's the open grave behind her. In this other deck, she used a piece of art that shows Christ rising up out of the tomb in the background. And that's where I think I originally got the idea of calling this the resurrection card, because while the card has to do with judgment and things that are happening in your life, the idea is the present has come and it's time to relinquish the hold that the past has had on you.
Aren't you supposed to bury the past?
What's that?
Aren't you supposed to bury the past?
You're supposed to, you can live with the nostalgia of the past, either the positive or the negative nostalgia of the past. That's actually the Six of Cups. It's got two kids on there, and it's talking about our past and our nostalgia. It will talk about that, about leaving the past behind, not letting the past, let the past be what it's supposed to be, a schoolmaster in a way. Or it's either good memories, bad memories, whatever they are. They're the things that brought us to where we are now, our pasts. But if we dwell in our past, guess what's going to happen? We're going to get stuck in our past. And so the idea is don't get stuck in the past. And this, with this particular card, this is all about letting go of the stuff, because what was the idea with the Christ, and why did she put him in that card? Why does she have the open tomb in this card? Look at this again. Why is that open tomb there? That open tomb is there to show you that, and the Christ was used to show that you have conquered death. Metaphorically, you have conquered the problem. You have conquered the past stuff. You have experienced liberation from the junk that's gone on in your past, that's brought you to your present, that has brought you to the place where now it's time where, guess what? You can realize and accept the fact that you are no longer stuck there. And you leave it where it is and you move along. And I'm ending up going through this whole deck anyway, one by one. So you can leave it there and not have to live with it, not have to deal with it, not to let it govern you anymore. And so that's what this card stands for. You have been through the shit, and you have conquered over the shit, and you claim that position of having conquered over the shit, and you can move on. Your past has good work in it, but it's also got bad stuff in it. And it's the process. It's looking more at you. Even though you had bad shit and juju going on in your past, you have been the person that's always been working your way out of it. This process of liberating yourself from some of those experiences, it's ongoing. And so this card is about new chapters. It's about moving into a new chapter, because you've come over this. The fruits of all your decisions are coming. And you're going to receive. Now, here's the thing about judgment. It's a bit of a spin on the justice card.
Mm-hmm.
But judgment means you're not necessarily going to get what you want, but you'll get what you deserve.
Great. So put the shovel down. So I
yeah.
don't hit somebody with the shovel.
And sometimes what you deserve is the work you've put into something. And that's going to pay off. And I'm fixated also on finding this other card. So I'm just flipping through this as we're talking here. Watch, it's going to be the last one. It's going to be on the bottom or something at the rate I've gone through these. I was just going to show it to you because I thought it was unique. Here it is. This is the Judgment card from her other deck. And there it is right there. You can see it's got, if I can keep the light from shining on it, the risen Christ coming out of the grave. And that's judgment. That's saying the judgment has happened. It's been carried out. You've experienced the pain of it, the torment of it, the nastiness of it, the discomfort of it. And you have now risen from the grave, and you say, that price is paid. I don't have to pay for that anymore. And that's
as long
where
as
you
it's not saying I'm the Walking Dead, we're good.
There you go. And so I paid the price. I don't have to do this again.
I'm still paying the price. Come on. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? This too is a choice that you can make. The Judgment card is one of saying, recognize that you have moved into a new phase and that you have resurrected from this. So if you let it affect you now, it's like, look at the Devil card we got at the very beginning. The Devil card is, look your demons in the eyes and they'll flee. So the idea, sometimes the things that still plague us from our past are the things we allow to plague us from the past. The picture of the resurrected Christ in this one had to do with, not with, I still have this junk going on. It was the idea that the junk has gone on and you've overcome it. You've resurrected from it. So it's no longer something that's going to be an issue.
But I think it also represents it still lingers.
It lingers. Yeah, he's got the scars, if you're talking theologically. So the scars are always going to be there. And it might linger, but you have the ability to determine how that lingering affects you.
Yeah,
you're going to appropriate it, or you're going to say, hey, I don't care anymore. It doesn't work for me anymore. And if I were to draw here's the next card right off the top.
Okay.
The second card for you, the 5 of Cups. Cups is the suit of, your passions, your romances, your relationships, and things like that. And this shows this judge, and he's standing there, and he's got 3 spilled cups, but 2 still standing, and they're kind of off to the side. And the idea with this card is, if you focus on the spilled cups, you're going to miss the opportunity of the full cups.
I got that. I get
So
that.
it's don't let what's spilled. The beauty of these other 3 cups too, they can also be tipped back up and refilled. But right now he's focusing on this. Why these 2 cups are kind of off his elbow there, and he's not looking at them. He's more looking down toward the spilled cups. He's grieving the spilled cups. And if
Those
not grieving,
cards
he's at
are
least
pretty
letting
on
those
point.
things affect him. That's where it's drawing his focus. And it's to take your focus off the 3 spilled and look at the 2 that you have remaining. That's where it's important. Once you focus on those, that's the resurrection part of this. That's the overcoming.
Pretty
And
on
so,
point with that, Scotty.
what's that?
You're pretty on point with that.
And there it is. So good. So you can see what the message is there. It's saying you're talking about stuff going on, and look what comes up for you. It's cards that say you've already conquered death. You've already conquered judgment. And you can move on from it. You are in the unique position of saying, already done that. Already paid the price for that. It's over. You have no power. What did Dorothy say? Or the Good Witch of the North say? You have no power here. Be gone. If somebody drops a house on you too. So that's your attitude. You can take that attitude and say, I'm not going to appropriate that anymore. And I think this is an encouragement to say to you, don't let the things that are trying to knock you down, don't let them knock you down. Don't let them take an inch of ground anymore, because you've conquered it already. You're done. And if you do, you get stuck in the past.
Absolutely.
And so there you go. There's your message.
My words of encouragement needed, very much needed.
Yes. And it's funny. In this deck, I just flipped another card just to see what it was. And what pops up is a card that Cat Black, when she did this deck, she did as a joke. Kind of a joke amongst tarot readers. And she made her own card and threw it in there. And it's the Happy Squirrel card. So she threw in the Happy Squirrel card. And this is a card that basically, her meaning for it, as a matter of fact, I got to look at her book on this. Her Happy Squirrel card. Let me see if it's the last one.
Is that like distraction squirrel?
It could be. It could be.
That's how I took that.
Oh, see, I got the Happy Squirrel card from the smaller deck of hers that I have tucked in here, and it says, "Good grief, I've got drawing glasses here. Let me try these." The Happy Squirrel. It's stuck in the wrong place. Hold on. I'll find this, because I think this is now important for you to hear what the Happy Squirrel says. And I got to read it out of the book, because I have no idea off the top of my head what the meaning of this one is.
These nuts.
Let's see. Yeah, you're nuts. That's what it means.
No. Well, we all know that.
Let's see. Suit of coins. Bear with me here.
It's all fun.
Bonus card.
Someone crushes a nut.
Let's see. 176 in this little tiny book. I'm at 178. Oh, how about that?
That's the number 176. That's one of my numbers.
176 is
716.
the page number of this card in her little book. The Happy Squirrel. Here's what it says. All right. Let's get the bigger, cleaner one. Okay, the Happy Squirrel. It says, a young woman reads the palm of a young man underneath a tree. She wears the costume of a fortune teller gypsy. He is a fine young gentleman with a velvet doublet, ruffled collar, kid gloves, and a high plumed feather in his hat. But they look as though they could be brother and sister. Their faces are so similar. On a fallen log in front of them, a red squirrel looks into a crystal ball, as though also reading their fate. The Happy Squirrel Tarot card first appeared in an episode of The Simpsons entitled Lisa's Wedding. So the meaning is lighten up. Don't take yourself too seriously. And there are no simple answers. Life is very complicated. And the most important thing to take in is the joy in the journey. There you go. And if I read this as a reversal, hey, it's bad enough that I gave you an upright meaning for a fake card. You do realize this isn't a real tarot card, right? That's what she wrote in her book. So it's not a real tarot card, but I found that there are cards that I read and I find out after 20 years, I read a meaning. I go, I've never used that meaning for that card before. Have I gotten it wrong all those years? No. That card has a card that I have ascribed a certain meaning to. It can come up and it will come up that way in that position for that meaning for an individual every time it comes up. And so the cards, I think that's the magic side of it is, or the spirit guide part of it is that it will lead cards. It arranges the cards mystically. It shuffles in the way it's supposed to because there's messages for you.
Speaking of fake cards, I have a air freshener in my Jeep, and it's number 23, and it's a skeleton's hand, and it's called the A-hole.
Nice.
And he's flipping the middle finger.
Nice.
I'm like, that's like a perfect card.
Yeah, it is. So there.
Not for me.
There's that. I'm going to do one other thing just to maybe prove a point about, I want to draw one more card for you. So I'm just going to cut this. If I had you here, I'd cut it. Have you cut it? I'm going to cut the deck and take the card that comes up right away. And this is this card we had earlier today, the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, that's the card where you have yourself to rely on, the swords being conflict, the swords being things that you have to take hold of the sword yourself and make it work for you. And the swords, it's talking about movement. It's talking about change. It's talking about and the page. No, did I have the page today? No, I'm thinking of the knight. I had the knight of something else. Sorry, that's my bad that I just did there. But the Page of Swords is all about, this is a young person he's in here. There's this unexpected news that's on its way. And
I'm not liking that card.
Yeah. Well, the unexpected, in order to benefit.
You said young person and unexpected news, not something I was looking forward to hearing. So
but in order to benefit from the changes that this card represents, you have to rely on your intelligence and your ability to adapt is the idea with this. So
you're talking to a person who can run with scissors, and now you're giving me more sharp, pointy objects.
There you go. More sharp, pointy things. And so there's this, the idea with this is that there's this deep desire for change that you have. You need something to change here. And it's making you irritated. It's making you agitated.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to
situations, yes.
You have to seek true independence of the mind. And that's going to lead you to the clearer perception of your motivation in others. And that's what all this other stuff is all about. And these other cards we drew, which I already put away in the stack here. But this is telling you this is intelligent. It's logical. It's vigilant. And it's bringing you some sort of official news of change is the idea. And
I'm looking at here, Scotty.
Challenging. They could be challenging changes.
Yeah.
But this shows you mental clarity. Oh, I know where I had this. I just had this card. Mental clarity is what triggered it. I just had this on my TikTok the other day. That's why it's so fresh in my mind. But this is mental clarity. It's conquering inner demons. It's being settled on the inner demons and the things that are cluttered and getting them rid.
Help somebody else.
What's that?
Can I see? I'm looking at it as if I.
No, this is reading you. Oh, this
Huh?
could be somebody that's influential in your circle, but
But
it has this effect on you.
Sorry.
So this card might be somebody else. The person that's depicted on the picture here might be somebody else, but the attributes of the card are what that person brings out in you. So this is always about you. It's never going to read somebody else for you.
But can I
So-
use that to defend somebody, to use, my smarts? And that's what I'm looking at that as. I'm wielding that sword for somebody else too.
You might
That
be.
has great meaning in my life.
It might have to do with the difficulties and the things that are represented here might have to do with somebody else in your life and how they affect you and influence you. And so this is the person you have to be.
Okay.
But at the same time, you have to be the person that isn't led by the past and focused on the past and realize that you have already conquered over whatever the problem is a long time ago.
So those make a lot of sense because there's a couple different situations. But yes,
There you
those
go.
were like spot on. You're always good at this, Scotty.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And
Is anybody else calling in?
anybody else want to call in? You can. So
I'm entering it out for Scott Allen and
I've only got about
Randall Flagg.
14 minutes before I'm done with the show today. So if you want to call in, it's probably a good time. We could do that.
Okay, I'm going to
So-
step off. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Steph.
You're the bestest.
Thank you. No, you are.
No, you are.
See you later. All right. There we go. When you defend someone else, you could be defending a part of yourself. That's exactly true, Lucky Stone. That's perfectly true. We got Scott Allen here. Scott, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. Let me adjust my audio here.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right.
All right. Let's uh-oh. I lost you. It says device is not connected now, Scott. Sorry about that, but I will shuffle for you right now. Come on back in if you can. And because that's the deal, but you did call in. So if we don't get you back, I'll still read the card. But it cut you off somewhere. It says your device is not connected. So Scott Allen, let's see what we got for you. I'm just going to shuffle up a little bit. Scott, you'll call back, right? Call back in so you can talk with me a little bit too. You don't have to talk to me before I do the reading. As a matter of fact, I'd prefer not to know what's going on with people. And there, you just popped up again and it says devices not connected. I can't even click on it. Oh. Then it adds you. Add to stage. There you are.
So what happened? I was trying to get the camera on, but I guess that part's.
I don't know. It says it's 2 or 3 times it disconnected, then reconnected you.
I was trying to turn the camera on, but I'm just going to leave it as is and
It's
go with it.
giving you problems on your end, maybe.
Apparently, yeah.
All right. Well, here, let me cut the deck on your behalf, and we'll take it from there. All right. Let's see what we come up with here. All right. Off the top. All right. You got this card, the Fool card. Now, that's always one, and people go, oh, is it calling me a fool? Am I doing something foolish? Not necessarily. This is a card that it's got the man that's pictured in the card. He's having a great day, great news or great things, good things actually happening. And so much so that, and he could just be on the goal to trying to make his good things happen, but he's got his head a bit in the clouds. He's playing a flute. He's playing a happy tune, and he's going along his way. He's like, life is good. I'm going to make life good. And, or here's the thing I'm going to do to make life good. And he's thinking and dwelling on these things. It's a change of course. It's new things are happening. But if you look in the older decks, which it doesn't show on this deck, in this art, but one of the big factors of this card in the old decks is the Fool. He's looking up and he's happy and he's moving forward and he's confident. But the next step he's taking is going to take him off the edge of a cliff because he's not looking where his feet are. He's looking up in the glorious sky, and he's got the little dog at his feet that's barking to try to warn him about his footfalls. So this card is all about really decent things going on, good changes. It doesn't always necessarily mean, wow, I just made this huge financial windfall. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could, but that's not really the focus of the card. The focus of the card is that you are contemplating, you are, in a sense, in yourself, within your own mind, celebrating the fact that life feels pretty good right now. And you're doing the thing that you have to do. And by the way, this is the first card in the deck. You know, the numbered cards in the deck, this is the very first one. And it's a very powerful card. And he represents, the Fool represents new beginnings. And consequently, it's an end to something old in your life. And it really reveals which aspect of your life might be subject to change when you do this in a whole spread. This is just a singular card. So I don't know exactly what this is pertaining to for you, but you've taken risks. You've had your own original thinking about things. Those are things that have brought you the success that you've experienced, a modicum of success at least. And right now in the very present, at the moment, you're entering a whole new phase, is what this is saying, of life. And the experience of going through this change or enacting the change might seem good or bad in the present, but its influence is really going to be clear as you get down the road in the future with this. And you have to assess the risks. That's crucial to making the right choices. And that's why the deck always showed him ready to step off the cliff, because this is one that's saying there's good things that could be happening here, but they won't if you walk off the edge of the cliff. The idea is keep your mind focused, your eyes focused on where your feet are falling, to mind the pitfalls, to watch out for the things that could maybe in a sense bring up old habits that you haven't shed. And those are the things that are the cliffs or the potholes or the things we can trip on if we're not paying attention to where our feet are falling. So instead of looking up at the sky and being, wow, this is great. It's great. And I've been there. And I don't always look for the pitfall. And I don't always look for the cliff. And I don't always pay attention to the dog barking at my feet, which is usually my wife. No offense. Watch out for that thing. Yeah. I got this. This is good. So he does represent new beginnings, carefree adventures, and things like that. But the foolishness is more optimistic in a way, in the sense that it stands for pure actions and being free from the constraints of your present life. You just have to look at where you're going.
Like being idealistic?
What's that?
Like being idealistic?
Being idealistic. If you're too idealistic, you might miss the practical. I've done that many times. That's where I get wrapped up in something that's idealistic and amazing, and I don't look at always the consequences of not paying attention to the details. So this is a card you're foolish in the sense that you're lost in the euphoria of this newer thing or something that you're engaged in, or the new change of life or whatever it is. And that spreads into watching for the pratfall, the pratfalls, I was going to say, the pits, the tripping up, because we're not paying attention to the immediate, where our feet are going, looking at the bigger picture and being euphoric about it.
Could you say that maybe that applies to something that, like, is probably kind of dumb to pursue, but you can roll the dice and say, screw it, let's see what happens?
It might be, because not even might be. That's an application, certainly, because you're getting involved in something that takes over, and you're like, wow. I've been parts of many projects with my art and stuff like that, where you get wrapped up in the euphoria of, wow, this is big. This is going to pay off. This is going to be something that puts my name on the map, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you find out, when you look backwards, you go, wow, I just put in, if I were to build that time out, I put in that, I'd be worth $300,000 right now. But,
I know that.
But I've got $10 out of it. And so the euphoria is still there, but it hasn't transpired. The euphoria of the great idea has come along. It would be like if somebody came and offered my agent to buy one of my book properties like Tam O'Hare, make it into an animated movie. That'd be fantastic. And the idea of that would put me on cloud nine until you find out, well, you've got to come up with the other $500,000 to launch it. I had that happen to me once. I had a company in LA. This is back in the early 90s. I had comic book properties I had developed, I created and developed. And we took them out, and there was Warner Brothers, Rick Unger, I think his name was, with Warner Brothers, and loved the concept. Wanted to pick it up as an animated property. If I had the other $5 million to dump into it, you come up with your $5 million, we'll match that, and we'll get this thing going. It's like,
easy,
dude. You're the studio. If I had $5 million, I'd have done it myself already. So that's the kind of thing this is talking about. Mine, and thank God I hadn't signed a contract or anything. But one thing I did find out of that, by the way, by presenting him all the properties I had a property that I called the Ventura Brothers, or the Ventura Boys. And it was about twin brothers that looked a little different from each other. So fraternal. One's blonde, one's brunette. These two brothers, slightly in the future, for 1992 when I developed this. And their dad is a single dad, a widower, access to world travel because he's in securities around the world. So they're traveling all over the world all the time. They've got this tutor that teaches them, gorgeous woman, and that also teaches them martial arts and all this. And they've got a robot, an android that is their pet, that gets them into trouble more often than not. So this was a storyline, and it's all set in science fiction-y and all of that. Well, I presented that, and he said, oh, it's kind of nice. Well, what should come out a few years later? Same guy on Cartoon Network, the Venture Brothers.
Yes.
And
that's what I thought about when you said that.
Almost point for point. And of course, I didn't sue. There's nothing.
Really?
It cost me more money than I got out of it. But it did make me disgruntled. That is a property. I couldn't prove that he stole my property. Maybe. I don't know. But and now it's way too late down the road. But I couldn't prove he stole my property. He could come up with his own idea. That's, if I could come up with it, somebody else could come up with it. But it was so similar in context that that was one of the pitfalls I didn't look into while being euphoric about presenting these things and getting an audience with Warner Brothers.
Right.
So that shit happens. Now, if I were to draw another card for you, Queen of Cups.
Okay.
Now, royal face cards, kings and queens, they usually stand for men or women in our lives that represent that person. You might recognize the basic physical qualities of this person that have something to do with, there's 4 queens in the deck, and she might resemble somebody you know. Conversely, it can also be you. There's nothing sexual about it or transsexual about it or anything like that with today's politics, but sometimes the queens can represent attributes that a man is displaying, and kings can show attributes that a woman might be displaying. But overall, this is usually somebody else that's affecting your life, and this is the way they have influence on you. I would say that the attributes of this queen probably stand for you as a result of seeing that first card, the Fool card. Be careful, because this is a card that basically says this is the person that does everything for everybody else, that gives of herself to everybody else, that she's the one who bakes the pie and everybody gets a slice except her. She realizes she didn't get a slice of her own pie. And so the idea with this card is don't give so much of yourself to whatever this new changes, the new stuff is, or the euphoric thing coming along, that you don't leave anything for you.
Right.
So this is a card that says, and that can take many forms. That can be, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I didn't get a bowl of cereal. It's not like that. It's the thing of where you may have invested so much of yourself into something and given to that, and then you find out, I'm not really getting out of this anything.
Yeah.
And so that's the application of that. So on top of that card, where you've got the Fool, that's telling you great things to think about, great, wonderful changes happening. Just watch where your feet fall. This is telling you don't get in too deep and realize you got nothing for yourself out of it. And so that's the danger with it. So there you go. I hope that applies somehow.
Yeah, I wrote them down so I can kind of spend more time and kind of research and everything. Part of the reason why I wanted to have my camera on is because I have 2 different tarot decks myself, and I was going to show you what it looked like on my end. One of them is a Nightmare Before Christmas deck, and so for the Fool, it's a picture of Jack Skellington walking through the forest with his ghost dog Zero.
Nice.
On the other one, it's this really cool deck called This Might Hurt by an artist called Isabella Rotman. And it's a picture of a guy smelling a flower with his eyes closed, and he's got a dog by his feet, and he's about to walk off a cliff, and he's completely unaware of it.
Nice. It's like my wife was up in Alaska last year, and she called me because she got worried all of a sudden. She saw this beautiful purple flower. And I think she picked one, and then later found out it was the equivalent of what we call vernacularly wolfsbane. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's poisonous. It's gorgeous to look at, but you even touch it, you can absorb the poison through your skin. And there's been people who've died within 48 hours of just picking one of these. And she's like, I'm worried right now. And she says, I sniffed it and it smelled good. And I mean, there's a metaphor for life right there. Beautiful flower. I sniffed it. The fragrance was great. I picked it and I put it on display. Then I died 2 days later of the poison. Now she didn't get poisoned. That's good. She didn't even get sick, which is nice. So she didn't have that much contact with it. But she found out after the fact. So it's that kind of thing. Sometimes you can find out after the fact. You're talking about your deck shows a guy sniffing a flower.
And it's a purple flower too, by the way.
And a purple flower. Could be, it's called something, not hemp, something, not hemlock. It's not hemlock. Can't remember what you call it. A widow's shawl or something. I can't remember what it's called. A lot of variations are coming to my head, and I don't think that's it. But anyway, I think the message is, by good things, there's always this fortune-telling edge to tarot that people hear, or that the basic descriptions give. Oh, you've got a financial windfall coming. That's might be the description of the card. But a financial windfall might be something that is either somebody may have died and left you an inheritance, so somebody had to die to leave you that. There's also the idea that, it could just be an upturn in your business that doesn't look like a huge windfall, but it puts you in a better place down the road. And so there's interpretations, the way we interpret things sometimes. So I don't know what this is in your life. It doesn't specify what it might be. But it's something that here, and I got to tell you, because I said that, I drew one more card while we were talking. I just pulled it out of the middle of the deck. It's the Two of Wands. Wands has to do with your emotional makeup, the things you invest your life in. And this is a person showing right here. They represent the world. You see the globe in there.
Right.
This is a person who has a zeal for life, is excited about life, has a lot of stuff. Is actually it's representing somebody who's kind of made it. They kind of got life is kind of taken care of. They know what they're doing. That's the general meaning, but they're missing something. there's a missing element, and they're seeking through the world to try to find it. They might come across as a happy person. They know what they're doing. Their work looks good, and all of that. And they might seem really, really grounded, but they're a person who has that missing piece. I used to describe it the way we did in ministry, my ministry days. Everybody has a God-shaped vacuum in their hearts that can only be filled by God to fit all the recesses, but we keep filling it with other stuff. And then you shake it out because that doesn't work and it's empty again. You keep trying. The idea with this is that there could very possibly be a void in you, Scott, of something that you're seeking.
Yep.
It might not be some big, great esoteric message. It could be the thing of saying, it's like with me, I'm an artist like you are. And there are still, with all that I've done, there's a missing piece somewhere.
Mhm.
Something hasn't quite done what I wanted to do, or something I'm still striving for. This is what that vacuum is shaped like for you. And it's one of, you have taken things, and I don't know this about you, I'm just going to assume it by this card. You have taken things and tried to fill that void. Oh, I got it. It's full. It's working. But it's not filling all the recesses. This stuff doesn't fit. And after a while, you go, well, fuck that. And you got to shake that out. And then you start all over again. Oh, now here we go. This is it. This is working. And I'm filling, and that's not it either. And you shake that out and it's empty again. So the idea is you've got a lot of laurels to rest on, but at the same time, there's something that's missing that you're trying to get filled, and it hasn't been filled yet. And you're seeking. Yep. And that's what the Fool card is all about. It's don't get so caught up in the, and I'm not saying this is an admonishment, it's an encouragement, because I do the same thing. Don't get caught up in the excitement and the joy and the euphoria of this thing without looking at the things that could be a pitfall or set you back, actually, more than set you forward.
Right.
So there you go.
Thank you, my friend.
You are welcome. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I wrote them down, and like I said, I'm gonna
look them up.
Digestive.
See what you
time
get.
on that. Yeah.
Right on. All right, brother. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. And everybody else, guess what? End of the show. I got to get out of here. It's after 11. I got stuff to do with the family, stuff to do in my life. And thank you, Scott Allen, for that $5. And thank you again, Steph, for the $4.99 or $5 that you put in. Raini just yelled. She's upstairs. She's painting the girls' bedrooms. She's got her sister, and her family is coming this Thursday night or Friday, and they're going to be here for a few days. And so Raini has painted the bathroom upstairs and redecorated a bit. She's painting the girls' bedrooms. And so she just yelled down now, yeah, hurry up and get off the radio. I need you. I'm painting. I need you to help paint. So there you go. Claudette says, just got to my son's and just wanted to say good morning. Good morning, Claudette. All right, everybody else. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the show this morning. What else did I want to say? Nothing else, I guess, other than we'll see you here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and for Intrepid Radio. And hopefully on Tuesday for Robertson, depending on how Wendy's doing. Remember, she's down and under right now. If you think of her, put out some energy for her. Say a prayer for her. She was in the hospital this last week, and she's home now. As far as I know, I haven't talked to her in a couple of days, but hope she's doing well. Keep her in your mind. And as far as that goes, we're done. We'll see you later. Live long and prosper.